Greetings, my name is Regine Garner, and today we have a special guest with us, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Ron Weber. I'm a college professor here at Weber International University. I teach a variety of marketing classes, from social media, augmented reality, marketing strategies, advertising.
Perfect. So as you can see, he has a wide range of just education and things that he brings to Weber, and today we're gonna get a little bit more in depth with that and get to know him more personally as a professor and as a person here at Weber International University. So the first question I have is, how long have you been teaching here at Weber?
Well, that's a very good question, Miss Elastic Girl. I started here in August of 1994. I was teaching an advertising class for Weber International University. They had an adult program here, and I had 29 students. I was 27 years old, and I was the youngest person in the class. It went over great, and I decided, you know what, I want to do this more and do it full time.
How does that make you feel, like being so educated and being able to teach a class full of adults that were like older than you?
Well, when I first started teaching the class, I was undaunted. I had no idea how I was ever going to teach. These people were all older than me. But what I did is over-prepared for the chapter. I had a lot of visual aids. I came up with some really good stories. I tried to engage the audience so they have activities to do in the classroom. And people responded positively to it. So I decided I need to do more of this.
Perfect. And would you say your teaching technique that you used back then when you first began, did you bring that forward to the future now as you teach the young students and the young adults that come in your class?
Oh, I sure do. And I had to be on fire. It used to be people would just read the chapters in the textbooks, but today's students really don't like to read that much. There's so many other alternatives, like watching videos, learning things through social media, having conversations through WhatsApp, from people from all over the world. So having to have a professor to have long lectures is just not as conducive anymore. So you have to engage the students, get them engaged.
Perfect. I've actually had the privilege of taking one of your classes, and I definitely can say that you keep us very engaged and making learning fun. It's definitely a different environment. It's different from most professors here at the university, and it makes you want to learn and pay attention, because it's not so much of just, this is what we're going over, this is how we're going to do it, and this is it. Like, not textbook. Like, yours is more of like, let's have fun with it. Let's throw a little twist and get everybody involved.
I try to. You know, if you can get the audience engaged, then there's learning occurring. But today's students, there's so many alternatives. They might have a TV screen right in front of them. They might have a cell phone on their lap. They're always thinking about what they're going to be doing over the weekend. Today's students play so many sports. 30 hours a week they're engaged in their sport. And I only get them for 1 hour a week. So I really have to capture their attention. And if I don't, there's no learning that ever occurs.
Right. Going back to your career, when did you know that you wanted to be a teacher/professor?
Well, that very first class, I over-prepared and thought, what can I do to really inspire these students? And I really wanted to inspire them. Instead of just learning about advertising, I wanted them to become advertising majors. So I would show them how much I liked my major. And I would try to find interesting things, facts, figures that come from all over the world. And it seemed to work. And so being a teacher, for me, it was kind of like being a rock star. I could not sing. I don't play the guitar. I tried playing the drums in high school, but it did not turn out. But on days I have good days and the students respond, they raise their hand, they're eager to learn, and they come out afterwards and say, Mr. Weber, that was a really cool class. That is what I live for.
Right, that's perfect. Okay, moving right along. Has your main interest always been in marketing?
No, I like art too. I really do like drawing cartoons.
Ooh.
The reason I moved to Florida years and years ago was to draw cartoons at Disney. Yeah.
Oh.
And just recently I got back to working with them again. I draw cartoons with them again.
Okay, that's perfect. So, was it something that you grew up around that sparked your interest in art, or is it just something that you've always been talented in?
No, in high school, there was a guy who had a cartoon company in St. Louis, where I'm from. And he was looking to train some people to work for him and his company. So what the heck, I'll try it. And so I did that during the summer times and during, I don't know, weekends, but I went and got a degree in marketing. Because at that time, I didn't think I could make a whole lot of money in art. But a person who loves art but knows how to market himself could make money in art eventually. So when I graduated from Missouri State University with a bachelor's degree in marketing, I opened up my own cartoon company. And that moved me to Florida because I wanted to get into theme parks that were open year round. Where could I draw cartoons year round from all these people? So I got down here. Eventually got into Disney's Hollywood Studios. And now we're in 14 different resorts in Disney. Yes.
That's pretty awesome. Could you name a few of the cartoons that you helped draw or that you produce mainly?
Yeah, no, none of those that you see in the cartoons. I wasn't involved in any of those.
Okay.
But those artists out there are phenomenal.
Okay.
That wasn't mine.
Okay.
I draw the guest. I draw the people. For example, I draw you, not Elastigirl, but
okay.
the person who made Elastigirl.
Okay, so that's just like maybe like one of the kiosks that you have like around the park where you can like freehand draw and like.
We have studio at Disney Springs. I don't know if you know where Disney Springs is.
Yes, I do.
Over by Rainforest Cafe, we have a whole store. We have a whole store in there that we now draw digitally. We draw now on an iPad, and it shows up on a big screen TV. And then we email it to people, and then they can have it, make hundreds of copies of it if they want to.
That is so nice.
So,
That's different. I didn't know that about you. That's very interesting.
Yeah, very few people do.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, how much do you try to connect with your students, and are you successful with most? You touched on it earlier when you said that with the different teaching techniques and the styles that you try to bring, but when those don't work, what is your next step? What do you?
I can tell you the things that don't work for sure.
Okay.
There are some people who just don't want to be engaged. They're too tired or they don't like the material. They get on their cell phones. But as a professor, I had to be very careful. This is very important because if a professor ever loses the rapport with their students, there's no learning that ever occurs.
Right.
Just think about the presidential candidates you like or dislike. The ones you love, everything that comes out of their mouth is gold. But the ones you hate, everything that comes out of their mouth is a lie. Right. And you can think about some of the relationships you might have been in at times when you're not getting along very well. You just kind of stood there. You know they're talking right at you, but you're not hearing a single word. So the same thing goes with being a professor. If they like you, if they like what you're talking about, they like you as a being, doesn't mean you're best friends or anything, but they like you, you're more apt to get through to them. So a professor many times has to work on that teacher-student bond. Otherwise, no learning occurs.
Right. And I remember something that you told us in class relating to that. You stated, how can a student learn if they're focused on how mad they are at the professor?
That part's true. That is true. Because, if I yell at somebody for being on their cell phone and I embarrass them for doing that or something, they just sit there and they come to class every week, but they just sit there like this and look right at me. They can probably hear every word I say, but they're just like a zombie in class and no learning occurs. So if you do break people's patterns, for example, get them off their cell phones during class, you have to immediately, as a professor, gain that rapport back before any kind of learning can occur. And you do that same thing in business. Sometimes people who don't want to hire you because you're wearing red and black, you look like a cartoon, why would I want to hire you? But you're going to do something to break their patterns. Like, well, you might just need somebody who'll be able to shut the door from 12 feet away.
Shut the door, right?
Yeah, can you shut the door from here? So you have to, yes, you definitely have to break people's patterns, in order to get them to see things your way.
Right.
But you disrupt their patterns and they don't like it.
Right.
So you have to gain that rapport back.
Okay, I'm liking that. What are the best adjectives that other professors or students would best describe you?
Energy, motivation, tell stories. Tell stories.
Agreed. To add on to that, I would definitely say that you're very inspiring. Very
That's what I
inspiring.
want to be. That's what I want to be. I just don't know if I'm always there. If I
Yeah,
can always get
you
there.
definitely are. Even like not being in your class, you just like have that presence of being like inspiring, like you say, motivated. Like every time you see you, it's just always like positive. Like you just know
Well,
you're on the way to do something good.
You just made my day. That's
And
one
I
of
don't
those
even know
positive
you,
things
and I
ever.
like you already.
Hey, well, thank
This is
you.
him 24/7. This is Professor Weber, everyone. Professor Weber. Moving right along. Family wise, like I know that you have a son. How does he look up to you being the awesome professor and the artist and just the amazing person you are?
He goes to daycare, and we call his daycare his school.
Mm-hmm.
And then Daddy goes to school too.
Mm-hmm.
But he's never been to our campus, so he doesn't know really what Daddy does.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that I babysit big people. And sometimes I really do feel like that. He thinks I
that's a good way
babysit
to put it.
adults, young adults. He does. But he also sees me as a cartoonist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Daddy draws cartoons. He tells everybody, Daddy's a cartoonist. Daddy draws cartoons.
And do you use him as a big motivation every day with the different things that you do and try to set out to be in life?
Yes, I do. And how to be a better father, to be a better dad. When he was born, I put all my time and energy into him because he was born in the middle of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to do that. But what gets tough sometimes is now when I'm teaching, I have 180 students who I love too.
Mm-hmm.
But I have him back at home. But also have his mom, my wife, is also at home. How do I balance myself and my energy to give love to all these different people and still have energy to exercise and learn and grow myself?
Have you thought about something that could help you like better manage time or like equally share your time?
Oh yeah. But I get just like everybody else. Sometimes I may procrastinate too long. I know I need to get these things done, but I end up working till 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning grading things so I can get them done before class the next morning. Because what happens is, his name is Rio. My 3-year-old, his name is Rio.
Yeah.
He'll stay up. I'll get home around 5 or 6 o'clock at night, and I pick him up, and he wants to play. Daddy, let's play. And then he'll get his milk around 8:30, but it takes an hour and a half as a process to get him to go to sleep.
Right.
So 9:30, 10 o'clock comes around, but that's the only time I can spend with my wife. But she gets sleepy around 10:30 or 11 o'clock. So the only time I have available to do anything extra, time for growth in these grading things, are after 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
Guess who's tired?
You are.
I get so sleepy, especially when it comes around 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Students write in small ink or write in pencil where I can barely see it.
Mm-hmm.
It frustrates me sometimes.
That is totally understandable. Students, you see it, you better, hey, listen to what he's saying. No, with your son, does he show any interest in any of the things that you do?
He's a fast runner. He's only 3 years old, but he's already faster than his mom. And he's tall too. He's more than half the height of his mom. He's only 3 years old, and he's 42 inches tall. He could almost ride. He's 3 years old, but he's just this short of being able to ride roller coasters at SeaWorld. And he's fast. He loves running, and he understands how to navigate on YouTube. Give him an iPad. He knows my password, and then no, I don't want that one. He thumbs through it and he presses on that. He knows how to skip the ad. He presses that. If he doesn't like it, he uses 2 fingers to slide it off and brings up the. Yeah, he's been doing that ever since he was 1.5 years old.
Okay, all right. That's nice. So it's good to see that, like, even though like you do have a busy schedule, like family always comes into play, and you're good with making time and adjusting when necessary. That's good to know. Before we sign off here, is there anything that you could give to future marketing majors that might come along, that might watch this video?
Yeah, there's 2 messages that I would want to always tell everybody. Number one is always remember you must give far more than you ever expect in return. If you're that kind of person who always wants to give far more than you expect in return, the quality of life will be really, really good. The other thing is be willing to adapt. There's new kinds of technologies that are popping up all the time, new types of currencies. We have the American dollar, but soon we're going to have a cryptocurrency that a lot of people are fighting right now. So I tell all my students, yeah, you graduate now, but 5 years from now, all your skills are going to be obsolete. You have to continuously accept that you're going to have to learn new things. Those are the two things.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, interviewing Professor Weber here and hearing and getting to know him more outside of Weber and just getting to know who he is as a whole. He's a pretty awesome professor and individual. So hope you like this video.
Well, thank you for that, Elastic Girl.
No
I appreciate
problem.
that.
Thank you.